You think so?
Whatever.
1858, Josh Dubin and Derrick Hamilton. And I'll tell you this, these are both Bring Me Down episodes. For sure. The Seth Dillon one, because of that abortion thing, but this as well. Like, what can you do at this point? Have you heard the story umpteenth time, and it's continued to happen? Corrupt cops.
the real story is that
Nothing happens to the cops.
the criminal justice system is meant to hurt minorities and poor people. That's really the gist of it. Because if you have the means, we've found out that there's almost nothing you can't adequately fight, short of like a video of you murdering someone or like something. It has to be so egregious. But if you have money, no problem.
Also know that if you're running a business, like nobody runs a business at a deficit. They don't run that business very long. You know what I mean? And if these prisons are businesses, then they automatically, that system just doesn't make any sense. I mean, listen, they are actively trying to fill their prisons. It's fucking broken from the start.
Just like the example when you say, why does Apple have to make so much money? Because they owe their shareholders. Like, prisons should not have a shareholder.
Mm-hmm. You should never be incentivized to lock people up under any circumstance.
Right.
That's it.
That's what
Bar
I'm
none,
saying.
full stop. There's no reason for it. And
if that is the case, so you're functioning in a system that is already totally skewed. That's why I can't stand when people tell me how less free I am than an American, because that to me seems like the biggest injustice there could possibly be. And yet you say you're living in a country with nothing but freedom. It's crazy. It's the most hypocritical thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, I agree. You can't lock up as many people as you lock up. And then go on about freedom.
A certain color of people too, and then talk about how free you are to live in America. Like, no, man, no. Well, you got to take a good And listen, I'm willing to say that we don't have the same ability to say things as they do. Like, I get that. Like, we are limited, but you have prisons that are private that you have incentives to fill, and you don't. You make people pay for their medicine. Like, no.
I mean, listen.
No, call a spade a spade.
They just sued those judges for locking up those kids. Remember that controversy?
Yes.
I think they have to pay out like $250 million. But like, imagine how many families those guys ruined. Like, think about Think about this one cop. Think about just this one. We're talking about one single cop who probably ruined. What did they say? He had 60 convictions. That's how many fucking families torn apart. And if we assume he's already got 20 of them have gotten off. Like, let's just assume that this guy was locking everyone up egregiously, that he did no good police work. And I'm not saying all cops are like that. Don't do that about this. But if this is just one cop, like, how many fucking innocent people are locked up?
Well, and it goes to show you that, like, yeah, of course not all cops are like that, but it doesn't take that many to make a huge impact, you know? 6,000 lives? Like, who fucking knows?
And for what I understand, it's not political. It happens in a Republican state. It happens in a Democratic state.
It's about making money, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm sure the color of people locked up varies by states.
I'm just saying the state that is running or working with these private prisons, because that's how it's working.
Yeah, is implicit in exactly that. Yeah, sure. So good. So that just proves my point even more, that it's not a right or a left thing, a red or a blue thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's not political.
It's a business thing.
I mean, throwing people in jail for weed is it's lunacy.
But it's easier to turn a blind eye to the corruption and just go along. And so it just keeps feeding itself.
I also couldn't believe that Josh Dubin, I love the guy. He's got balls of steel to come on Joe's show and right off the rip be like, yeah, I just want everyone to know that Rick DeSantis can suck my fucking cock. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I don't know. Joe seems to really like this DeSantis guy.
Then on the fourth time he went into him, he was like, I don't want to disparage him.
Yeah, but again, he can really suck every inch of my dick. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy fuck.
Weed is illegal in Florida.
I know.
Like, if you could tell someone 5 Florida stories and then tell them that, and they say, what? That doesn't even make sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, the fact that it's illegal
Well, they have
probably
medicinal.
pushes everybody to
They have
get fucking
medicinal.
crank,
Exactly.
which is why you get all the Florida stories.
The pharmaceutical industrial complex. I can't believe I said that first time.
Are you gonna drink this?
Go ahead.
What is the statutes of limitations? Like, okay, you got away with it. Like, what was that put in to make life better?
Well, it's so that it's so that the police couldn't just come after you indefinitely for something that you had, they suspected you of doing.
No, I thought the statute of limitations, like, if you did something like 10 years ago, we can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Get you
So it
for
means that the police can't 15 years later keep harassing you for something they thought you did, unless it's murder, rape, or something that's beyond the statute of limitations.
But I thought that guy got arrested twice.
How
This
many
guy-
people say statue of limitations?
statute,
Oh, I
yeah.
know, but that's got to be like a real
It's like 16th Chapel,
the 16th chapel. Yeah,
16th.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He was very honest when he was like, I have fantasized about killing these people.
Yeah, I love that. Good on him.
But you know what
That's
I mean?
that's
like,
well, who
sometimes
wouldn't?
like whatever things are like.
It was kind of like in with the pedestrians. Like I'm
Yeah, you're honest about wanting to kill just normal.
Because of course you would be,
Of course
Oh my
you would
God.
be. This person put you wrongly in
And
jail
you
for
knowing-
20 years.
and rightfully so. And he tells he cries at the end, or in the middle, a really sad story about a guy they got off, and then he kept fucking over the guy who got him off. But if you could see someone on the street, think they're homeless, and they could really annoy you. But if you all of a sudden found out they got
20
wrongly
years.
convicted or whatever, and they end up there, everything changes. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Can you imagine 20 fucking years?
And we asked him what was the first thing you did, and he just said, "Go see my family." You don't think that, but he's a really good person. Like some guy might go to Vegas or whatever.
With what? You don't have shit. Of course you're going to your family.
I watch some of those prison shows,
Yeah.
and when they say like you're in the fucking isolation,
Yeah.
that's you. That must be the fucking worst. You're in that tiny little cell.
You get 1 hour alone outside in a small
You
cage
don't get
every
to
day.
do
time.
shit.
Yeah,
like
that's abuse. It's abuse.
just must be crazy. It must be crazy. Like you watch Alone. Do you watch Alone?
No.
You know what the show is?
I do.
They go out into
Alaska
the woods.
and-
Person
yeah.
who lasts the longest.
They're out there for months.
Some people go home because their bodies just start eating themselves, like they're not getting enough food. But some people just can't handle the alone. Like it becomes so fucking like,
Yeah, I know.
and they get to go home. Like, anyway,
I would.
there's something wrong with that, keeping your people like that. Again, just pointing out.
I'm not saying that Josh likes Trump, but he hates DeSantis,
Okay.
and I think Hamilton did like Trump.
Okay.
Just an aside, it had
oh,
nothing to
you
do
kept
with the conversation.
because he kept saying.
Well, when he brought up January 6th,
I think he was just pointing out that everybody should be held accountable, and I think we all agree
and
with that.
questioning power, of course, the method is probably
It shouldn't matter on which side, right? If it's a broken system.
there's like society lies that we all tell ourselves.
Like,
Like alcohol is worse than weed. But do you think that
do I think that's true?
is true? But do you think that is?
1,000,000%.
But do you think that's the consensus?
Oh, I
everywhere?
see. Right. No, I gotcha.
And
Yeah.
that's a lie we
Yes.
all tell ourselves. Like
Gotcha.
commercials aren't bad.
Well, remember we were talking about how winners write history? So whoever's in charge is going to dictate what's acceptable and what isn't. So for many years, smoking was great and eating sugar was amazing. You know what I mean? Like those were written into the way we did things.
I was talking to a guy that is a mechanic for a race team, and he was talking about how much money there was in the sport. Do you remember when every car was a cigarette or alcohol?
Yeah. DeMaurier
They
sponsored
stopped
everything.
that. That was like sort of some sort of weird censorship.
Yeah, they don't
Early-
let sports players
It was also age.
represent.
Because there were people in the league that were younger than the legal age. That's why they did it.
So
you can't have a kid who's 18 with a cigarette logo on his fucking jersey. That was the whole idea. Like a kid who's 18 playing soccer, for example, he can't have a tobacco product that he can't legally smoke on his. I think that's what in Canada at least that's what it was. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
but I
there
could
was
be wrong.
also a whole thing about like you shouldn't be able to have like Michael Jordan tell your kid to do something that may be bad for them just because he's super popular. So they just made these rules about like who's allowed to advertise for certain things.
Well, don't forget, like advertising booze on television in Canada, that only came around like 20 years ago.
There's a swap.
Do they do that now?
Every
Yeah,
store,
hard liquor. Yeah, you could only
corner
advertise
store-
beer. There was only beer ads.
Every corner store had a
No,
cigarette
right
clock.
now though.
Right
Can
now
you
can.
advertise beer on TV?
Oh, there's beer ads all the time.
And
there?
hard liquor ads?
There's whiskey ads. I
Yeah,
think.
of course there are hard liquor
Dude,
ads.
beer ads. Think about the Super Bowl. Your "What's Up" ad is a Budweiser
Yeah,
ad.
right,
Like,
right, exactly.
There's been beer ads for as long as time.
And of course, they talk about tequila all the time. Yeah, so
Modelo.
or
Modelo's
whatever.
a beer.
If you're watching those fights.
Yeah, the
Modelo,
UFC. Yeah, but that's
everything.
yeah. Beer sponsors a lot of stuff. But what I was saying though is in Canada, like you couldn't hard liquor. You couldn't advertise on television till like 20 years ago.
Well, but that makes sense that that stuff kind of pushes on, right? Like if it's legal, and as long as you're not pushing it towards children.
It is so weird though. Like if you think about it, they can't advertise cigarettes because cigarettes are terrible. But booze is this wildly
it's
accepted
crazy.
thing that they're like.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we said.
Well, I'm
booze
thinking more
is-
about cannabis.
Booze
like-
is the worst.
By the way, Mary upstairs wanted me to point out that she believes that in Florida, weed is decriminalized currently.
It is.
Okay.
And you can, if you have a medical.
Well, I said
card.
medical. I knew they had medical because when I was there.
No, but medical, like, remember how loose it was here for a while?
yeah.
Like that kind of medical.
Gray area.
No, it wasn't because I tried to get one when I was there, and the guy was like, "If you don't live in state, you're absolutely never getting one." So it's not that lax.
Somebody
it's a
told me
controlled
that they
substance.
just had to show like their license and their Canadian passport or whatever. and
Okay,
that-
well, I mean, I haven't been to Florida in 5 years, so that could be it. But I'm just saying, when I was there, I tried to get the medical thing because I was dying.
Yeah, no, but I mean, they're like every year.
Yeah, it's moving quick. I get
you
it.
move
Like the
a little
Jungle Boys
quicker.
have a place in Florida now,
Well, there you go.
so
Well, how do they do that then?
medicinal. I'm pretty sure
Oh, interesting.
because there's a lot of people in Florida with those cards. I mean, if you think about it too, it's an opiate state. So I'm sure once the opiate crisis happened, I'm sure doctors were more likely to be like, "Oh fuck, we'll just give everyone a weed fucking."
No, I think they were less likely. They wanted to keep everybody hooked on the opioids.
maybe
so
you're
they
right,
didn't want the weed getting in the way.
There was one example he said of a young woman who had sex with a student, and the student killed her husband, and she got 20 years. And he called her a remarkable young woman. I guess she had potential, but you should know not to fuck a student. And this is exactly why you don't fuck a student, because you'll fuck with their emotions and they'll go off and kill your. I didn't think that was the most egregious miscarriage of justice. Maybe 20 years was too much, but she was in the wrong. I don't know. I guess that
So sorry, wait, back up. So she fucked the
student.
student.
Yep.
The teacher fucked the student.
Mm-hmm.
The student then killed the teacher's husband,
Yep.
Yeah.
and she got 20 years for it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, what? It's not that crazy though. It's not like
Well,
you
yeah.
said I killed someone, but I didn't kill them.
Well, unless she orchestrated it,
but she-
then that's a different story.
Who knows what she did emotionally to manipulate this? I don't know how old the student was as well.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Like you're actually legally.
Hold on, we don't know the
responsible for that?
story.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, she might have been in his ear, like, I really hate my husband, and I'd really like to, you know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah,
And
sure.
that all changes the story drastically.
Yeah, there's a podcast all about that right now about some woman who convinces this like
This is
guy
probably the
who's
one.
not too smart to. Yeah, it might be.
It's
Anyways.
a small world. Qualified immunity is they're saying that once you get up there, like you're just immune of stuff. You have a certain level of I get it.
Yeah, I could do whatever the fuck I would
that
like
should
to
not
do.
exist. Like because it's like this job security thing. It's these lies we tell ourselves. Anything that the Catholic Church objects to is got to be like they'd get no say. They can still practice their church and stuff, but they get no say.
Listen, if you don't
with
want to pay
laws
tax,
or
if you don't want to
anything
pay
like that.
taxes, you definitely get no say. Shut the fuck up.
You no
can
say.
you can quietly do whatever you
Do
fucking
your
want
thing.
over there.
Have your thing.
But
Have
you're
your
not.
own
You don't.
TV
You don't get to
station,
tell
but
people what they
you
get to
don't get
do.
a say. You don't get a say, especially the Catholic Church. But
And
none
guess
of
what?
them.
You want to start building some roads? Maybe we'll give you a say.
Or build a fucking super train.
I just
Call
meant
it the Jesus
Kamar, I just
train.
meant pay taxes. That's all I meant. Just pay fucking taxes.
The super Jesus train.
Think about the last 50 years, how much money the U.S. government has lost out on because of the church.
In
Probably,
taxes,
yes.
and all of them, a lot of them, the Scientologists, a lot of them.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot
Sorry,
of
I
them.
meant religion. I
You-
shouldn't have said the
you
church.
can do whatever you want to do, but you get no say.
Why do they have a say?
What he's saying is they're
on
constantly
the
trying
abortion
to,
law. They have like lobbyists and like
because they're
Well,
constantly out.
lobbyists. That's there's another problem, right? Like the system is set up to be able to buy.
Yeah, they do
Like,
it
why do lobbyists exist?
because they do it under the guise of you, Simon, could hire a lobbyist and
To
you could send
persuade.
them to.
to persuade.
Bigfoot
persuade,
exists.
yeah.
We need some Bigfoot
Yeah,
exists.
Simon's got a
lobbyists.
Bigfoot lobbyist.
There are, I'm sure.
Imagine if Simon won like the Powerball and that's what he started
Dude,
spending his
that
money on.
is exactly what I would do. I'd give some to charity,
Yeah.
I'd give some to my friends, and the rest would go to proving Bigfoot exists.
Lobbying Congress.
Do you guys think he should run for office?
Oh, I guess my family
No.
can get something too.
No. And I found that part, like when he was talking about how he was like, like you guys can do local change. Listen, man, there's a reason that only politicians get into politics. None of us want that fucking job. Period.
He was just talking about the scrutiny and stuff. And I'm like, what scrutiny? They kill people and get away with it.
Well, if the internet didn't exist, it wouldn't be that big a deal. People would like that job. It would just be a power job.
No, because it doesn't even pay that well. That's all it is. It's all about the power and the influence because none of those jobs pay well.
But it's the system of the criminal justice being corrupt.
Sorry, none of those jobs pay well.
And-
I'd love to make $100,000 a
And
year.
we'd be remiss to discuss this like it's an American problem, because I'm sure there's the similar problems in Canada with our minorities or First Nations, like similar
You talking about being locked up?
wrongful convictions.
Of
Who the
course.
fuck knows?
Of course.
Blame for this, like, and that might be more of a crime that no one's shedding a light on that. It seemed like he was doing the Freedom Project, but he's separating himself from that. Did you get that sense from him?
No, I just think he's got a lot of irons in the fire.
Sounds like they're opening up some school that's going to be a pretty big deal.
No, they're going to be part of a school Like-
They're opening a wing of,
Yeah.
of Harvard or something
somewhere.
somewhere.
What is that thing you always say, Simon, when people are too nice?
That people are too nice. I think that's what he says.
Oh, too much.
Too much.
philanthropy.
Too much. Yeah, TMP.
TMP. He was dropping Jay-Z's name, who is doing it right.
Just quietly doing it.
Yeah.
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 And everyone should be doing that.
NMP.
Oh my God. What does that mean?
No,
No
more
much philanthropy.
What? Get out of here.
I got to break character for a second. Have you guys seen the Are You Garbage?
I got to break character
What do you
for a
mean
second.
character?
Yeah, now you're talking to the real Kamar.
They had Rick Glassman on it,
This is the left, Kamar.
and he can make an acronym about anything that comes to your mouth. He can make the acronym because he's like
The
Rain Man.
acronym?
Acronym.
Like, what's an acronym? A word spelled forwards and backwards?
No, an acronym like FBI is an acronym.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Whatever you say, he can hear the first and make it an acronym right away.
I don't understand
What a
what
useless
you're saying.
fucking-
Like,
what a
It's
useless.
funny when he does it. Anyways,
like killer karate beetles. He would just know those letters.
KKB.
wow, you have it
That's
too. Yeah.
really good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not good at that. It takes me longer
No,
to like pull the
could
letters
do, he
up
could
in
do
my head.
like 8 words. He did. He doesn't do it like, and this is why I should be famous. He's just like, yeah, by the way, I do that. And they pass him a, he's like, here,
Yeah, I do that.
Pass me the Rubik's Cube. And they're like, what the fuck? And he goes, like, you can do that? It's like, oh no, I just fuck with you.
I'm so lost.
Oh, you got to watch it. I'm sorry. Back to the show.
Yeah, could you get back into character, please?
Prisoners should have to say, I don't want to work. And you should give me my 3 squares a day and give me my books.
You
They should
shouldn't,
have a
you
right.
shouldn't have to make license plates.
It's
is
so
what you're saying.
I don't think you have to.
exploitation. I'm not sure.
I think most of them
you
want
to pass the
to
time
get
and
the
make
time.
you
Yeah.
10 cents a
But
day.
hold on a second. If you're in prison,
Yeah.
that's the punishment, is just being locked up. There can't be any other punishments that go along with
That's a
going
job,
to
man.
prison.
You should be
like,
happy.
listen, some people in prison are there unjustly. and they
Yes.
shouldn't be there.
Hence this
But
episode.
some people are in prison justly.
Oh, a good portion of them.
So shouldn't those people have to make license plates?
They have to be
forced
punished?
labor. At that point, it's slavery, right?
Again, these people are in there because they are theoretically done something. Like, I guess it depends on what the laws are, right? That's the... Because if you have
I get it. You're
a
saying
child rapist,
Yeah.
shouldn't they have to fucking dig in a coal mine or something? Like, why do you care?
Why would you give them such a... Couldn't you think of a worse job?
I think that is like the stereotypical worst job.
taking away someone's freedom and controlling
Coal
them is
mine.
not
You're
enough
gonna
of a
get
punishment.
black lung. You don't have. It's not a good job.
And killing them is too cruel.
Well, we've agreed that we shouldn't kill, right? Like,
Especially
Couldn't we put them on like Deadliest Catch or something? Where they're likely to die and
do
we
they,
get king crab
do
out
they
of it?
get any of the fish they catch?
No, they get nothing.
Nothing.
No, they get something. If they make the license plate, they get some money.
It would actually make
So
the
they
show
get a
very
little bit of
interesting
the
too,
fish
because
they
it's like,
catch.
pull the pod out. There's been another stabbing on the deck.
But what if to fix
Man overboard. Don't worry about it.
Go ahead, Kumar. Sorry.
to fix the prison industrial complex makes the economy collapse? Like all that labor that it's producing, and that it's a bigger piece of the pie than you think.
Makes
Well,
the
even then,
economy
what did he s-
collapse. Wouldn't it create more jobs?
Yeah.
If there are no prisons,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're getting fucking cents on the dollar against a guy
go
who's
out and
against a guy
clean
who's got a
streets.
real fucking.
Well,
He's saying it's better for the economy if you shut it down.
Like
Is that what you're
Japan
saying?
has no homelessness and no unemployment because they keep everybody employed.
And no
it might
one's
not
being
be the
bored.
most important job in the world, but somebody is out there cleaning the streets. And if it's prisoners doing it, well, they're doing it for free. It actually makes sense that you would.
I'm sure lots of guys want to do something.
Rather than stay
Do
in prison.
something.
Well,
like,
for sure.
Time
I
goes by
imagine.
faster. He called out Van Jones as well, who got like $100 million from Jeff Bezos when he went to space. He came down and gave him an award.
Who
Who
the
is
fuck is
Van
Van
Jones?
Jones?
Van Jones was like a big CNN guy, bald with glasses.
I'll have to Google him.
Anyways,
Was he the counterpoint or contra something?
no, he was just a commentator. He was someone's lawyer.
Counterpoint,
He was
are you
someone's
sure?
lawyer.
Oh, this guy. He's been in like a million documentaries.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But sorry, I thought you were talking about a different guy.
But he was trying to be in the public eye, sharing his voice, and he gets $100 million from Jeff Bezos, and he's disappeared. And this sort of thing is right up his alley.
So what does that mean? He paid him off to go away?
What is he doing? Like, I would love to hear stories about Van Jones making change with his money from Jeff Bezos, but
Wow. Holy
maybe
mother of
maybe
God.
he's just gone and spent it all.
Why was he giving him, like, what was the premise of him giving him that money? Did he go to space?
No, he went to space.
Van Jones?
No, Jeff Bezos.
Okay.
And then he landed and he gave $100 million to Van Jones and $100 million to the Spanish chef. It's a really cool guy who's got his own show or whatever. And I've seen,
100 million?
yeah,
So he just gave $100 million to these two guys. No,
Yeah,
there was no
yeah.
story behind it. It was just
No,
100 mil.
You could tell walking up to the ship, he was like, well, I'm just going to go up and come down. I need a little something else to add to this. I swear. Now, I've seen what the chef doing. The chef, I think right now is in Ukraine, right? Like, boots on the ground results. I've never seen anything about what Van Jones has done with it.
Why are we even talking about Van Jones?
Because he said Van Jones got $100 million. And
Yeah,
and
that's how
then
he started this.
disappeared. Right, gotcha.
one of the problems with law enforcement is entrapment. The Mr. Big that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
The
That's,
jailhouse snitch.
that's only here.
The informant.
Well, there's a good example of how our system is really corrupt, because that's something that only exists in Canada.
yeah.
but,
That every other country is like, oh, well, this is
well,
egregious.
obviously you can't do
yeah,
that.
we can't.
It's
We,
egregious.
So everything I said about being free,
You know what's weird though is
Scratch it.
I mentioned that shit to my dad, who used to be a cop, and he who's like Mr. Freedom right now, was like, man, well, you know, you got to do what you got to do to catch bad guys. I was like, what? What are you fucking nuts?
Because it becomes a game to them.
Well, don't you
in
have
a corrupt system?
Don't you have to do what you have to do to catch bad guys? Like it is, you definitely don't want to catch good guys. But if you're trying to catch bad guys,
But you
I'm
gotta
just asking. I'm just throwing it out
This
there.
is saying you got to do what you got to do to get good guys convicted as a bad guy.
Well,
Simon,
that's
it's almost
different.
like the FBI giving that guy a bomb, telling him to go plant the bomb, telling him to detonate the bomb, and then being like, there was no bomb. We gave it to him. He's now doing 20 years. Like,
Yeah,
this
that's
guy probably
egregious.
wasn't.
Was that what Mr. Big is? I forget now.
No, remember the Mr. Big was the guy who
Mr.
they
Big
thought
is
maybe killed the girl. So they faked that they killed a guy and made him dispose of the body with the 3 guys. And then remember they were like, now you got to tell us something about you. We need to know something about you. So he was like, all right, in the 70s, I killed this girl. But she lived across the street from him. So he knew she died. And then they tried to lock him up. That was the.
Did he really kill a girl?
No. Oh no, a girl got killed. No
we
one knows
don't know.
who did it.
He lived across. Okay, Simon, this guy lived across the street from this girl
Yeah.
in the 70s.
Yeah.
She's murdered in her home while her husband's at work.
Okay.
He's a suspect for a minute, but he has an airtight alibi in that he was with his wife for like the majority of the night.
Okay.
15, 20, 30 years later, whatever, someone opens up a cold case and they decide that this guy is the guy.
Was it due to like DNA or something?
No, they were like,
No, they think you did something wrong, so they get you to do something wrong
So
to
the Mr.
hold against you.
So they sent in an undercover to befriend this guy because he was down on his luck. They gave him some work. And then eventually he was like introduced to the boss, who was another undercover. The boss gave him more work. They made him pick up like a fake bag of drugs where he had a gun. And then finally they called him one night and they were like, we need you down here right now. He gets down there and they have a fake body. It was like a pig's body that they had wrapped up. And they're like, you two got to go dispose of this body. So him and the guy that he befriended go and dispose of what they think is a body. Then they take him back to this cabin where they kidnap him, by the way, because they don't let him leave. And they're like, you're not leaving until you tell us something, a secret that no one knows, which is ironic because this guy's so fucking stupid. He could have just said, I just disposed of the body with you guys. I'm culpable anyway. I'm leaving the fucking anyway.
And then he admits to killing that girl?
Yeah, which is egregious because, again, he has inside knowledge of a death. Most people don't have that. Like, if I think I'm going to get killed by a mobster and I know that my neighbor was murdered 15 years ago and he's like, tell me a secret. Yeah, I'll make that up. Sure. Yeah, I killed the girl across the street. Like, do I get to leave?
Why would you just not make up anything?
Yeah,
You think
fucked
you're
a
about-
Dog, whatever.
Oh, sure. Okay, that works.
I
Fine.
jaywalk. I drunk and drove.
No, so sorry. I don't like the way that went down. I see that there
No,
are some
that-
flaws, but
that's
what
a
I'm
practice.
what I'm asking is in this case,
Yeah.
did the guy kill the girl?
We don't know.
You don't know yet. Bad dog.
Because if he killed
Bad
the
dog.
girl, I'm kind of like,
Simon,
job well done.
The
man.
point is, if he killed the girl, you collect the proper evidence and you convict him based off that. You don't do this elaborate scheme of like fake killing someone to get.
break 3 laws.
Yeah, what are we fucking doing here? Like,
Anyways,
if you're breaking laws, your own laws, that's a problem. But if it was just
corrupt.
like
It's
good,
corrupt. It's corrupt.
that to me is not good police work. Not in the fucking slightest. That is lazy police work, actually.
No, it's quite.
it's not.
Well, it's
lazy.
elaborate,
It's
but
not
you're right, okay.
lazy. It is the opposite of
it's
lazy.
very oppressive.
Either way, my point is every other free country in the world has decided that this is the most egregious police practice. And Canada has been like, we don't mind it.
No, I totally get it. It's like the FBI and them convincing that guy with the bomb. Almost.
It's close enough.
Because that guy was never planning on doing anything with the bomb.
This guy wasn't planning on disposing a body. He was living
No.
a very mundane, normal life.
As a guy who murdered a girl, maybe. Like, I'm just saying, if he did murder that girl,
I told you he had
why
an air.
is this
I
just
told
not
you.
amazing police work, you know?
I just told you he had
'Cause
almost
they
an
were a
airtight
suspect.
alibi in
They
the
decided
70s.
Did it?
A cop, when they're doing an interrogation on somebody, can lie to that person.
Yes, we've just
They don't
decided
have to
that.
tell
Yeah,
them the truth.
which is also ridiculous.
It is?
That's a yes, they are allowed to, and I think it's ridiculous. Yeah,
I'm just like,
Well, no, that's why they say don't say anything till your lawyer gets here.
yeah, because a cop is just going to lie through their fucking teeth to you. and they're allowed
It's a
to
given.
by law.
It's a given. It's a given.
Cops shouldn't be able to talk to children by themselves.
They're
and
not.
They shouldn't
They're
be
not.
able to talk to people of diminished
Capacity.
by themselves,
'Cause
Yeah.
those people may not be able to ask for their lawyer or whatever.
or even understand that they're incriminating themselves. Right?
But those most of the time that won't hold up in court. Like if a cop were to interrogate a person of diminished capacity, that's never going to hold up in court. You get a half decent lawyer will fucking get that thrown out. However, like same thing with kids, it's the same thing. That won't hold up in court. If there wasn't, I mean, sometimes it does though. Like the Central Park Five, none of them had a
look at
fucking
that one.
yeah.
Exactly.
But again, the one kid whose mom showed up and put up a stink, that kid didn't go to jail.
Where do you think the level of presumption of innocence we're at as a society? Right, innocent until proven guilty. That's eroded somewhat to just being
course it has.
a truth. Like, all these little lies we tell ourselves, and we've gotten here.
That
mean,
is
listen.
not really innocent until proven guilty.
Well, the public opinion has definitely changed things. Like he was talking about an impartial jury, even getting that. Like that is a serious thing, and that all these aspects of the criminal system are corrupt.
Do you think a jury is the best way to do it? Just a jury of your peers? Shouldn't it be a jury of like the smartest people you know?
Well, you know what's really weird?
No, I'm serious.
You're calling yourself stupid. You're mocking yourself. Mocked.
I'll take it. I'll take the mock. Why would I decide somebody else's fate?
What's weird?
I'm an idiot.
What's weird
But
to
I
me
get-
is police refuse to let there be a civilian review board because they're like the civilians don't understand how policing is done. But then we let civilians decide people's fate in these cases that involve policing, right? Like it's kind of a weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. I mean, I guess. But at the end of the day, a judge can overturn a jury's decision anyway. So it really doesn't even fucking matter, does it?
Can they?
I'm pretty sure. Google
Okay,
it. You have
No,
a-
and one person shouldn't have somebody, like it should be a panel of people.
it is. It's
jury.
12
The
people. That's a
smartest-
jury.
The 12 smartest people you know. Not 12 people you know.
Well, first of all, you're not supposed to know any of them. That's a pretty big.
No, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I mean, I don't know, Simon. What do you think is the better thing? You think it should be judges? Because we know that anytime it's like up to a judge, they're willing to lock kids up for cash.
No, I think that the screening processes to become a juror should be much more.
But hear me out. I just finished telling you we screen for judges, and they still end up corrupt. So I don't know that there's any better way. Like it's just the system that we have.
There's definitely a better way. It's an algorithm. That would solve all our problems. Just let the robots decide.
You are correct. A judge can overturn a jury's.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, what does it even matter? 12 people can go, we think this guy's innocent. The judge goes, yeah, I got some
Well,
bad
but
fucking
maybe
news
that's
for you.
maybe
lawyer.
that's
It's
a
up to your
good
lawyer.
thing because maybe the jury is so obviously wrong.
Well, no, that's why judges do it because they'll say, I think the jury has been so tainted that
Yeah.
judging by the evidence I've seen.
But they
I've seen-
can only be wrong based on the two lawyers presenting the facts. Because they don't know, they're supposed to not know anything about this.
yeah, you're supposed to come in.
But the judge knows.
No. The judge doesn't necessarily know.
Judge doesn't necessarily know.
What?
The judge doesn't necessarily know.
Anything about the case.
Yeah, he's actually right. The judge has so many cases on their docket that usually they come in.
I know, but the judge is not like not watching the news to make sure he doesn't see something about a case that's coming up.
Yeah, but common knowledge isn't common.
You're just saying words to me now, man.
That's a good one.
Kamar's
You just
making
got
shirts
mocked.
over here. You just
You just got mocked.
Common knowledge isn't knowledge. Is that what you
Yes,
said?
it's possible they do know what you're talking about. But if it's not a publicized case, like these
Most cases
weren't
aren't
big news
publicized, yeah.
cases. They're just the judge, the lawyers have a deal. Yeah, we'll just get these jurors through. I think one of them talked about it, but they don't really care about it. And it's not fair. It's-
Right,
it's-
that
it's
judge is seeing so many cases in a day. They're just coming in front of him. He doesn't know what's happening in front of him. Right, but he knows the law.
well,
he or she.
it's part of the corrupt system. You can tell blood.
It is. I mean, he's right.
You can tell blood, eh? Have you noticed that?
I mean, you can tell blood.
Have you ever bled?
I have blood.
And if
yes.
it drips, you know what they look like.
I know what a blood
splatter?
drop looks
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Yeah,
And on the wall, if you shoot and you see it,
you know what that looks like.
you do know what it
yeah.
looked like.
Yeah.
Unless that's ketchup, no, that's blood. Especially gets darker. But someone at some point observed that. Said we gotta start thinking about this.
Are you talking about like for forensics now?
Forensics. For years they'd walk in, oh my God, people shot everywhere and just cleaned the whole thing up, maybe burned it, who knows? And then wait a second.
Right. I see.
We can learn something from
I
this.
see what you're saying.
That's an interesting person.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
He was sort of hinting that their system, US, isn't much better than Russia. With wrongful convictions, the Brittany Griner situation and whatnot.
Well, again, I just spoke about the cash for kids. Like, that's the most fucking egregious shit in the world. Like, if you had found out that a judge was locking people up for money, you know, like you're angry about it for sure. That's not how the system works. Kids?
Do you think
You know
in
how fucking
China,
depraved you have to be?
judges do that sort of thing?
I don't think they have judges.
Oh, they do. They have courts and judges, but
Yeah, I think it's a fucking kangaroo court. I think it's one guy who's like guilty.
but
Guilty.
it might
guilty.
actually
Just
be way
slamming a
more
mallet
efficient
down.
than our corrupt system.
We're not going for efficiency. There is no. There,
We're
first of all,
going for justice.
there is no
to be
efficiency
blind.
in justice. Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
and that's just. I think that's just like part and parcel of the system.
I wonder if someone made a list of corrupt, like what is the best prison system? It's not the United States because they have the biggest prison population in the world.
Well, first of all, the U.S. doesn't try to rehabilitate anyone.
I bet
You can rehabilitate yourself in prison, like as we've seen from a lot of people.
Scandinavia.
There's one in Greenland where the prisoners live with the guards. Have you seen that place?
No, that sounds
It's
interesting.
very
It's not rape if everyone's into it.
anyways.
Like, if you go to jail in Libya, like the court system there, could you imagine?
No.
Or is it all organized? I don't even know. Or a Taliban court.
I assume that's not too fun either.
That'd be a nightmare.
I
Waking
don't
up.
think a Taliban court exists.
I'm sure it does. These are
That's where the beheadings, they usually televise
on,
them.
man.
It's like
Come
a
on,
quick
man.
trial and then they behead you. And then they put it on YouTube.
They mentioned it. I was going to mention in the post, Joe, but that Saudi girl got 23 years for a tweet.
It's insane.
Yeah, I'll bring it back up in the post, Joe. Yeah, that's all I got for him. Oh, free Bruce Bryant. Shout out Bruce Bryant. He's in jail. If you're in a position to do something, which I am not,
Neither am I.
which always makes these a downer episode, but have to be shared. And there will be more, as Joe loves Josh.
Well, if we ever start making real money, we should donate a little stipend monthly to the Innocence Project.
Yeah, or find
Justin Wren or something like
find
that.
something similar here
Yeah.
in our own community.
Yeah. That's probably a smarter idea.
I rated a 3.
You're gonna be bummed. I told you, this guy gets a standing 5.
Oh.
He's just doing God. He's
I
doing.
knew that was
He's
coming.
doing God's work. Listen, it's not that the episode itself. I mean, I'll give it more than
How
a
does
3
the week get a 3 from you then? If that gets a 5.
because I said he gets a standing 5. It's not really a 5, but he's doing such good work, and the fact that Mike Baker shouldn't be on often. This guy should, and I'm glad that Joe is holding it up. And it sounds every time this guy comes on like Joe is more interested and wants to do more. So I'm happy about that. It sounds like Joe's giving this guy cash too. Like I believe that Joe's really quietly pumping this guy up, and that makes me happy.
Wait till Mr. Beast gets a load of them.
Mr. Beast is busy gambling now.
No.
No, he plays like high stakes poker. He got hooked. They had a game at one of the casinos in LA. It was like one of the Botez girls, XQC, Ludwig, Phil Ivey, Phil Hellmuth. And in that, Mr. Beast and Botez both got hooked on poker because they both won a ton of money.
No, but
I'm
are
sure
they?
Mr. Beast is really good.
But
He plays like well, first of all, he
has
doesn't give a fuck.
unlimited money,
Yeah.
first of all.
And he plays as such, which is
Interesting.
but he's not playing poker on YouTube like.
no, not like it's not a
scammer
stream.
guys.
No. What I'm saying is like he was on Poker After Dark, like a full hour episode. Him and one of the Botez twins. So yeah.
And Jimmy's still so chill, eh?
Yeah, Jimmy's the man. All right, we're gonna take a break. Hopefully, pay a bill, and we'll be right back.